Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode with me, Shashank Udappa. And boy, oh boy, it's been a very hectic week. Imagine, I am pretty sure all of your portfolios have been swinging left, right, center in the last 2 weeks. But imagine me as a fund manager. It was very difficult, right? Very difficult. But what I'm going to do today is I know all of you guys will have this question that Shashank, India US trade deal has happened. What are some beneficiaries that we can look at here? What is real and what is sustained? That is what we are going to look at in today's video. I will do another video as well because budget we missed out. So I have a deep dive document that I have shared with all my community members. So we will do a quick review of that document as well, which I will post maybe in the next video as well, right? So again, hectic times, but hey, finally we're out. I think hopefully, fingers crossed, we should go into a green zone. Now, coming to the India-US trade deal, there are some things that let's talk about it. Non-political. I don't like politics, so let's not talk about politics. But a lot of people are saying that India got the short end of this deal. We have zero tariff for USA, but we have 18% tariff and etc. I've been hearing, and we have to buy a lot of energy and all of that. So please understand, in the world of economics, narrative wins first. Okay, so right now the narrative of India was bad. That is why FIIs were leaving, everyone else was running away from us, and nobody wanted to invest in India. When the narrative is bad, your dollar INR crashes. We were doing really bad. We were the worst currency last year. I think the second worst currency last year. So the whole idea of this was bad. And at the same time, you have someone like China who was doing very well. Russia's doing fairly decent. European countries are doing decent. So when you look at all of this, you cannot sit and say, is the deal fair or not? No deal is ever going to be fair. The game is about closing the deal and we'll figure out how to do other stuff later. So India has this thing that we will never open up the dairy sector and we will never open up the agriculture, which is the rural agriculture space, right? So even though we have 18% tariff and they have 0% tariff, it is fine because we are currently one of the lowest tariffs after South Korea compared to all the other countries, mainly our competition, which is Bangladesh and Vietnam. So now our exports will be cheaper than our counterparts and we will actually bring in a lot of dollars when we do export to US. Now, what do we import from US? We, by the way, don't import much because US doesn't export a lot of crazy items, right? So we do import, but not some crazy amount, the amount of which we export. We don't import that much. But that is why we have to now go and buy we have to go buy energy from them, which is oil, coal, all of those things we have to start buying from them worth $500 billion. Now, when you do trade like this, it is okay because we have been buying oil from other places. Yes, would it be better for our country to buy oil from Russia at cheap rates? Absolutely. And that is why Saudi and US did not like it. And that is why this whole game was played. And India did go on a back foot. But now it's a win-win situation because with the lowest amount of tariffs, we get dollar back into the nation. We will use that rise in stock market, to use that rise in exports to now start going and buying some energy. And all of this is temporary, please understand, because eventually we are pushing towards renewable energy. So our energy imports will reduce over time. And in fact, now is a bigger trigger to start reducing the energy imports because who wants to sit and keep doing $500 billion kind of deals? And this was our weakness and it was, highlighted today. So that is why I said we don't care about it. Whether it's a win or loss for India, we will only come to know much later because this is macroeconomics. But narrative wise, India has won and that is why the stock market has celebrated today. It also gives a very good signaling to FIIs to come in. But also many of our companies in India now get a free pass to go into US. And today we will quickly talk about some large cap companies, one or two mid cap, but mainly large cap companies that will benefit a lot from this India-US trade deal. So let's go one by one. By the way, as I told you, I'm a SEBI registered research analyst and the last few days have been so volatile. Let me show you this, right? So our fluid Q, which is our momentum small case, we don't like losing money. So that's why we never lost money. But just look at this swing. We were up 8% and in 2 days we went down to 0%, right? And this is when we compare it with the market, which is Nifty 500. Nifty 500 is actually down 3% and we are actually up 3% from the Nifty 500. From the large cap, we're up 1% from Nifty 50. So we basically track the Nifty 500 because we have a mix of all. So we're actually 3% alpha to the index. And this is basically our entire portfolio, which is going to be rebalanced today. But yeah, been crazy times, but let's see what to do. Coming to portfolio, obviously your portfolio is doing good now, so that is not a problem. And if you do a quick analysis of Nifty, right, before we go into the stocks, Nifty actually opened close to all-time high today, which is crazy because I've never seen this in my life, where one day Nifty is below 200-day moving average, next day Nifty is at all-time high. Unbelievable, right? But yes, there was a lot of profit booking because many people have losses, so they booked the profit. But overall, it is a signal for good news and it should go back to all-time high. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it should not come and do gap filling. If a gap filling happens, then we could see another 1% index fall. Please, it should not happen, but it is a very high possibility that gap filling can happen and a rebound can come from this zone as well, because this was the key zone that we were playing around. Okay? Chalo, let's go into the stocks. First, we'll look at the automotive sector. Now, automotive sector is very good for US because now we can actually export at very cheap rates compared to the world. So one very interesting company is Bosch. Okay, so Bosch also is doing really well, long-term compounder, no problem, one of the leaders in their space. So Bosch is something that will now suddenly start going up because this is a very good demand for US. And think about it, US and EU. Auto is the best place to be right now because auto may EU and when you talk about US, it is a big benefit for that, right? Coming to TVS is another company that is again looking very interesting. As you can see, it is also going up. There are some mid-cap companies I can tell you, but TVS again is a long-term game player. And if you are looking at TVS, it is very good. Even Aisha is not bad at all because they also export their their bullet bikes to a lot of places like Royal Enfield. So this is also very good. If you want to go into auto ancillary, where again a lot of gems are there, we have to go a little further down. There is a company which is SJS, again very interesting company in the decor space. This can do well. You know, Minda will do well. So auto ancillary, many companies can do well over here, right? So that is a very big bullish point for auto sector. So auto sector has the best of both worlds. Second is textile. Now textile has actually, if you see Gokul Das exports, it actually went up from 500 to almost 600 opening. But textile is one more region where you can see a good comeback coming into the picture. Page Industries also, as you can see, these are all beaten down sectors, right? Textile. And India exports a lot of textile, but we were competing with Bangladesh and we were competing with Vietnam. There is news coming from Bangladesh that many of the mills are shutting down. And if that happens, we will be the best import substitution, beating Vietnam as well. So that is something that we are also looking at. Pharma will be a very good beneficiary. If you look at Dr. Reddy and Sun Pharma, these are the two companies. Whoever sells a lot of drugs in the US, Dr. Reddy's and Sun Pharma being them, with generic medicine, they will actually do really well. And you will start seeing a recovery coming slowly into pharma. Yes, there are mid-cap companies in pharma that are doing well. There will be small-cap companies that do well as well. But if you look at the EU deal and the US deal, these two companies should really do well. The best sector that will finally recover, fingers crossed, is your IT sector, because IT sector had taken a very good beating, mainly your big guns. I don't even have to go lower. As you can see, TCS is now finally doing a reversal on the charts, right? It has been in a very, very, very bad downturn. They even did a buyback right at the top. Now we are seeing TCS doing a very beautiful recovery. Touch wood, thank God. Persistent is another company that is also looking really good. As you can see here, Persistent is another company that looks really interesting. Apart from that, there are some cable and wire companies. If you see Apar Industries, my old favorite, it actually went up today by almost 20% and hit upper circuit, because Apar, if you had read the con call in the last few con calls, they were having margin pressures, they were having export pressures, and now all of that gets released. And this company, even in India, if you look at the budget documents, which I will show you, there is a lot of railway electrification happening where Apar's power cables and conductors are used. So if India goes into that segment, Apar will be a very good beneficiary, and that is why it has gone up crazy. Apart from that, there are some very interesting companies that have gone up 10% today. They are the Adani group companies, right? So Adani actually went up today 7.5% on Adani Power, Adani Green. Even though it is not supposed to go up, it actually went up a lot. And Adani Enterprises also went up quite a bit. Now, why is this happening, or why did this happen, is mainly because there was a recent case that was reopened by the Supreme Court in US, and they were trying to see how they can go and attack Adani again. And if you see with this coming out, with the trade deal now finally done, I think nothing will happen to Adani, and I think he'll be absolutely safe. And there should be no other problem coming into him. In fact, if you look at the budget documents also, there was a lot of information on the budget document where they said we will start focusing a lot on the ports industry. And I will talk to you about that in the budget document. Apart from that, there is another company, Murugappa Group, is CG Power. CG Power again does a lot of external contracts for power, and this again went flying today because US has been very negative on power, and they did put a lot of restrictions on India. So I think this is another company that can do really well. Again, guys, these are not buy or sell recommendations. These are only things that I'm looking at with the market and trying to make sense of nonsense, because now I feel these companies will go up, right? Obviously, your data center companies and all will do well because we are getting all of these data centers coming into India. But these are some companies that should relatively do really well, is what I strongly believe in, right? But let's see. But overall, you see Garvare also was doing really well. But Garvare is all small companies. It's not a very big company. So Garvare also did really well, went up 10% today. Gokex, Goldium, all the guys who export to US, including Goldium, all of these companies actually went up quite aggressive. KPR Mills, LT Foods, Aarti Industries. Aarti Industries is actually the result thing, right? So these are some very interesting companies that are looking from the India-US standpoint. Only thing is, will we sustain? Will it continue going up? And how do we position ourselves, right? So I would honestly just play large and mid here. I would not go into small, because small still looks a little funny. But large and mid looks very attractive, and I would stick with large and mid as of now. Okay, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys like this video, and if you want to know how to look at the small case, I'll put the link in the comment description below. You can have a look at it as well. Awesome. This is me, Shashank Godoppa, signing off. Take care. See you guys. Bye bye.